I played it with RTX.
Was the ray tracing giving you a hand job? What was happening?
Each time Suhani looks over to see like what I'm doing, she's like, "Are you playing a game or are you watching a movie?"
It's not perfect. Nothing ever is.
You are perfect.
Thank you, Anna.
Welcome to the Game Playlist Podcast. My name is Aksha, and my favorite Marvel movie where they go to space is Guardians of the Galaxy. Anuk?
Endgame.
Avengers Endgame. Spoiler alert. Seshan?
I don't really think here.
Anything after Endgame, actually.
Well, while you're thinking Delanta, maybe
Oh,
you
no,
have
actually
one.
not.
I was just gonna say Guardians of the Galaxy because I can't think of anything else other
And
than
take
it.
Volume 2.
Okay, Avengers 1.
Do they put
True.
space in Avengers 1?
Actually,
Yes.
That's how Iron Man
that
gets,
is-
Iron Man
is-
goes
that
to
is-
space to this thing that whatever.
Thank you. Very spoiler-free explanation of what happened.
Spoiler alert if anyone has not seen Marvel's The Avengers.
Are we spoil?
And Anuk, you just said it. What was like Delanta? Are you taking Guardians too?
Can't remember Guardians 2. Can't even remember Guardians 1. I'm
His dad arrives and he's like, "I'm your dad."
That's all I remember about it.
They throw a ball.
They throw ball.
Correct. They throw a ball, yeah. I don't know the story, but yeah, it exists, yeah.
It exists. Something happens. All right, so yeah. Thank you for watching. This is the Game Playlist Podcast where we play a game. We pick a game. Today's game is picked by Delanta. We pick a game, and for that month, we have to play that game. Come here and talk about it. In today's game, if you're here because you saw Guardians of the Galaxy, but you didn't see the Marvels at the front, you're mistaken because we're talking about the game, not the movie. That came out in 2021. And here to talk about it is Delanta, the picker of said game. Delanta?
Hold on.
He's opening.
ChatGPT.com.
Our sponsor for today is...
Please no.
All right. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. What do we think, team? Oh, wait, sorry, intro. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. So, back in the year of
14.
21.
Was it 2014?
You're talking about the
The
original,
original movie came out 2014. The
Yeah.
comic was much earlier than that.
No. I don't know any of that. To be
And the
honest.
game was 2021.
No, so back in, I believe, 2015. No, sorry. Back in 2018, Marvel and Square Enix, so the people who make Final Fantasies and the whatnot, announced that they were going to be working together on a couple of games. One of those games, which is way more popular than this one, is the ever so successful Marvel's Avengers.
Oh, yeah, so successful.
I all remember Marvel's Avengers, right, guys? One of the
I
greatest,
remember.
one
Sure.
of the greatest superhero games of all time. Yeah.
I didn't know today sarcastic, dude.
Yeah, so that happened, and the reason why I mentioned it is, of course, as you can.
It is audio cut or is it just me?
I think it's audio cut.
Oh, really?
Okay, fine now.
Okay.
Can hear you now.
Do I need to do the whole thing again?
No.
Just
Start the sentence you were just saying.
So back in 2015.
No, before.
Okay, no. So what I was saying was the reason why I brought.
It got cut again.
That was
I feel like it's being done on purpose now. Come on.
No, you said the reason I brought both times.
Okay. One more time. I swear I'm cutting my audio. So the reason why I'm bringing up Marvel's Avengers, was that heard?
Yes.
Yeah, we heard.
All right, fantastic. You can tell that I'm really professional at this podcasting stuff. We've only been doing it for a year or two. So the reason why I bring up Marvel's Avengers, fuck's sake, is that I feel like the reception to that game and the way people reacted to that game kind of affected this one, like really badly. Like I think a lot of people kind of misunderstood when this was announced. Like, oh, Eidos Montreal, who ended up developing the game, since left Square Enix, now with Embracer Group. I think the reaction was that, oh, this is just going to be another Marvel Avengers cock-up and whatnot. And I think a lot of people, rightly so, were skeptical about the whole thing. Surprisingly, of course, you're about to hear our true feelings about the game as a whole. Like it's, which is fine.
Maybe
But I
it's a
think
cock-up. Go ahead.
to you, it's a cock-up. Fair enough. That's a bit of a
No, I didn't say. I said maybe it's a cock-up.
Maybe it's a cock-up. All right. A little slip there. But I think in the wider gaming community as a whole, it was relatively well received. I mean, it ended up winning a game for best story up against a bunch of games which I looked up a couple of weeks ago. Now I don't even remember the name.
It Takes Two.
It beat It Takes Two, yeah, which ended up winning Game of the Year. I forgot about that one. But that was a. I guess you'll hear our opinion on the story as a whole later on. But yeah, I feel like it's important that the history of that is told and why the game. I mean, the attitude coming into this game at launch. Now it's many years later. Game is still around, unlike Marvel's Avengers, and we played it. And
I'm sorry, is Marvel's Avengers not around, literally?
No.
Or is it just not popular?
yeah, it got delisted.
Yeah.
maybe 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Was the last update Wakanda Forever or Squirrel Girl? I couldn't. No. Wakanda.
Last update was Battle for Wakanda. Yeah.
Yeah.
Battle for Wakanda. So yeah, we're gonna talk about the game. Over to the lads.
All right, so let's talk about the game. Guardians of the Galaxy. It is a brawler / like just like horde style. I don't know how to
Beat 'em up, I don't know.
Take the wheel.
Would you call it
It's
a
a-
beat 'em up without? It's a beat 'em
It's
up.
a beat 'em up with a gun.
It's
as
a
well.
beat 'em up with a gun. Yes.
Yes, it's a beat 'em up with a gun where you take control of one guy, being Peter Quill, and you have your guardians at your side helping you, and you can command them to do some things, but they do act on their own and fight with you. So it's a PvE style game.
It's a hack and slash, right? It's a hack and slash.
Hack and slash style game, except there's no hacking or slashing. There's pew-pewing and
I don't know.
There's
if-
shooting and slashing.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
Gamora does the hacking.
Yeah. It's a hack
Yeah,
and slash, beat 'em up, and pew pew.
Explosives, crazy, enemies.
What do you call the standard of game where you have like SS rank,
Beat 'em
A rank?
ups.
Beat
Ah,
'em
Oh,
up.
beat 'em
SS rank,
Beat 'em
A
ups.
rank.
Like in the EMC, it's like SS A rank.
Oh, yeah. When you're fighting, you get a
Yeah.
rank for doing
You got a
combos
rank
and all
for
that.
it.
Like here you have a rank as well.
Beat 'em ups.
I don't know. I think it's just beat 'em up, maybe.
I think it is beat 'em up there. I think beat 'em up.
I don't think. Yeah. Beat 'em up. All right. So let's not spend 2 minutes
Yes,
talking about
beat
what
'em
genre this belongs to.
Let's go to the Steam store and check. They're always accurate.
Yeah. Chinese parents, psychological horror. So,
Yeah.
this game is a linear game. It reminds me of what
Surprisingly.
it's a linear game, and it won best narrative, and so there's a good emphasis on the narrative. That's like a strong emphasis on the narrative in this game, which was. And I know it won best narrative, but I was still for some reason surprised by that.
I'll be honest, I was surprised too because again, like I said before, at the time, I don't think anyone really cared.
Yeah, when I saw the gameplay of this game, I was not that interested because it really didn't grab me at all. But let's do an overall thoughts, which is just like the most like what you feel about it. And for me-
Initial reactions or just overall?
No, just what overall what you thought of the game, just feeling wise, not really like specifics. Because for me, by the end of it, I really enjoyed myself. I liked this game quite a bit. And I was surprised because the first chapter, I thought I would hate it.
I mean, it
Am I
was
alone here?
No,
Wow.
you're not alone. Yeah, it was a steady increase. it wasn't like the first chapter itself you hated the game. It's just that it took a while to get used to the game, because if you are not used to that kind of style of a game, maybe it's just not your ballpark of a game, and then you like suddenly
I
get
mean, I
into
don't
this.
know about that. I really like the game. The gameplay, the
No, at
narrative.
the beginning, I mean at the beginning, not like
No, at the beginning, I hated it for different reasons, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
Not the gameplay itself. Gameplay, I was learning it.
I
But other things.
I agree with you in a different sense, Akshay.
You liked it at the start, and then you ended up hating it.
No. I have the same feelings as Akshay. I really did not like it in the start.
Okay.
I still am not a big fan of the story.
Hmm.
The overall story. I am a fan of the characters. They feel like better fleshed out versions and almost more comic book accurate representations of the characters, because like I feel like they're the entire like Guardians of the Galaxy cast has been like
dumbed down versions
not
of them.
dumbed down, but like when you think of them, like you think of Chris Pratt's Star-Lord, or
Yeah,
you
yeah,
think
yeah,
of
yeah.
like you
Yeah.
think of the movie, right, where it's like
Yeah.
this
It's too comedic. It
it's
feels a bit too comedic.
yeah, this version of the Guardians is a lot better,
Yes.
and I like their character development. I like their stories. I like who they are and how they interact with each other. The overall story of the game, I'm not gonna say I'm not fond of it. I just didn't find it interesting.
Hmm. All right. Anuk, similar feelings, different feelings.
I mean, what Sashan said about characters, yes, definitely better. I feel like they portrayed a better character than what the MCU produced. Less comedic. I mean, it is comedic, true, but it feels a bit more refined rather than just ha ha, laughing everything. You know,
Yeah.
it feels a bit, and in like some characters feel a bit more better
Serious.
than a bit more serious, but feel a bit more refined than what you see.
Okay, interesting. Delanta.
I think overall enjoyed my time with it. I did play this game back when it came out, at least the beginning bit, and then dropped it, like I do with a lot of Steam games. But picked it up again, obviously, for this, and I'm glad I got through it because overall it was good. I do feel there are certain dips. Definitely agree with everyone on the character view. I think they really like they nail the vibe. They nail the Guardians vibe hands down. I think they definitely got a lot of feedback. They definitely you can tell that. I don't know how true this part is, but like what I mean, you can tell that they really worked with either the Marvel team or something to figure out, okay, this is how they, instead of like just going with their own version of the character, which is nice.
Mhm.
I do think there are dips in the story.
Mhm.
There are points where like I think the story overall I enjoyed it. But I do think definitely there are dips where had it not picked back up by a story beat later on, I think it just sent the whole thing crashing. So it's a bit up and down there, but overall, I liked it.
All right. I feel like I agree for the most part with everything, except that the parts I enjoyed it to a higher degree. I don't know why I did. But I really like the characterization. I differ from Seshan in that I like the story. I like the story, not everything about it, but I like the story on the whole for the most part. I feel like it overall was interesting to me. And I know nothing about the comics, so I can't even comment on how comic actually.
I feel like we didn't really go through this. Anyone know Guardians of the Galaxy? Any fans in the house?
I like the movies. I like the James
I
Gunn movies.
Not really, but
don't know. I don't know it like as in I haven't read it. Like I have like seen videos on it, and like it's mostly based off like commentary from the movies, where it's like people usually make reference to like the movie
comics.
characters and then like compare that to the comic book this thing. So I know like backstory and everything from certain characters and stuff. Like the entire Guardians 3 movie, like Rocket's background, like his backstory and everything, is like very comic book accurate. Like I know like their backstory and like I kind of have an idea of what their vibe is. So it felt more like that.
Okay.
I haven't seen the third movie, and I don't remember the second one. Even the first one, like I do remember the characters. I cannot remember what the story's about. So that's why like that's why like for me the character part was like it was good because like that's the way I associate like if I think of Guardians of the Galaxy, those are the types of
first
characters
movie.
that would come up. And yeah, at least the vibe.
Yeah, same,
But-
similar feelings. All right, so from there, let's go more technical and detailed and fill out the podcast. We'll talk about the presentation of the game. That means like sound design, music, the visuals, graphical fidelity,
Yeah.
world design, level design, all of that shit, and writing, character writing, voice acting, that sort of shit. Presentation, pretty good. Pretty high budget. This AAA game, and they make use of the budget to pick something very grand looking. Because there are points where the vistas are presented to you, and they are massive, magnificent vistas. I really liked a lot of the background elements. Like whenever you land on a new planet, or you're just walking around like nowhere, and you just look beyond the edges of where you can walk, and you see like the detail in the distance. Really, really good, really good looking. I really like the world design in general.
I am with you on that. It is. I feel like each planet and like each level was unique, very pretty. Although I must say, I felt like I spent a considerable amount of time in that X-ray mode.
I didn't. I don't think so.
Extreme.
So you were just looking at green and red.
You know, look at things, was it because
Did you get the upgrade where you can see an X-ray during combat?
Yes.
Pretty early.
No.
Okay. Just imagine just playing combat, but you only see through the X-ray.
You're just in X-ray mode.
No. I was in that mode mostly like trying to look for items.
Yeah.
Like items and upgrades and stuff like that. Like that's why I use it a lot, but like I did take the time to like look through the different environments and stuff like that because they were very well made. Like
there's a lot of detail. My goodness.
I remember that ice planet is like one of the most beautiful ones for me.
Yeah. That
Ice planet is the one towards the end, right?
Ping Fang Boom.
Ping Fang Boom.
Yeah.
Spoiler, Jesus.
Ping Fang Foom's design was
And
perfect.
the Wendigos.
Was very nice. I feel.
Ping Fang Boom's what?
Design.
Yes. Spoilers.
Spoilers, man. Jesus.
That was good design. World design was very good. Even like then like on the macro scale, it was very good. On the micro scale, like inside the Milano, the Guardians' ship, there's a lot of detail in every direction. Even the stuff that you don't interact with, there's a lot of detail that sort of gives you a strong idea that these characters are living here, that they've spent time here. There's like scuff marks. There are things just left on the tables that make sense for things to just be left on the tables. There's a fridge that won't close.
They took a lot of care with the environment, which is nice. You don't really get that anymore.
It's a linear game, and so they do the best thing that you can do with a linear game, which is pack your every level with detail and character. I really like it.
Just want to add, I played it with RTX.
All right, buddy. Let's calm down.
I just want to add it.
Played with RTX. All right, Chief. Yeah. So how was the RTX experience?
I would maybe it's just me personally.
Was the ray tracing giving you a hand job? What was happening?
All the rays of light coming up.
I feel like they didn't do the hair part correctly, or it didn't feel as
Oh,
good.
yeah. Go ahead.
But in terms of like the environment, in terms of like the ray tracing and everything, every part of it, it was done well. It's just only the character designs when you have like all those rays and stuff. It didn't do too
Was
good.
it in cinematic specifically?
Cinematic and in general.
That's
Was
not-
it like a fuzzy sort of like outline around their hair?
Yeah, I mean, I put
Okay,
next.
so that's not what you call ray tracing, because I didn't have ray tracing on, and I also had that. What I did was I turned off the background blur or like focus, like out of focus thing. That's what was making that happen. It wasn't implemented right. It wasn't implemented too
Time to
well.
play the game again and without fuzz.
So my
and...
recommendation for anyone who's going to play, turn off the cinematic. Not only cinematic, I think it's the focus rendering that they have
Maybe that's
installed.
why. Okay.
Yeah,
They just,
yeah.
that was only my only gripe, I guess.
Yeah, I would say that's a fair gripe, though. It does take you out of it at points.
I mean, it looks a bit weird when you like want to get a better experience when you have cinematics, because the game is partially cinematic, right, rather than full on.
Partially.
That's a fair amount of
Partially.
cinematics.
I felt like every 5 minutes I was in a damn cinematic.
You move from one to the roof to the next. What's happening?
That's a make
No, like
point.
I was literally playing. I was playing the game, and right, and each time Suhani looks over to see like what I'm doing, she's like, "Are you playing a game or are you watching a movie?"
Oh god. Yeah. I don't know why, but I was not normally. I don't know if I'm normally bothered by cinematics. I'm realizing, because I was not bothered at all by the amount of cinematics. It's only now, not now. It was when you mentioned how many cinematics there were, I started to think and went, "Oh yeah, there's a lot of cinematics in this game."
The last game that had this many cinematics for me, like just I hated that experience. It's also another. Wait, I don't know if it's a Square Enix game. Probably is.
Probably.
Life is Strange 2.
That's a narrative game, though, Seshan.
But it was too much. It was too much.
Seshan, it's a narrative game. I'm sorry. I know we're getting very off.
And he got
That's a
cut off.
narrative game. Its whole thing is told in its story.
I can kind of understand what Dilat is saying. It is just a narrative game. But I do understand this, which is that even in a narrative game, when there's very little like things to do, like in Life is Strange 1, every time there were cinematics, you still had like to make choices in dialogue, and so you were still active. Whereas Life is Strange 2, and in a way, this game, there's not as many moments of that. There's a lot more just let me hold the controller and watch for 5 minutes as they talk to each other.
Yeah,
and I choose nothing. Which
I mean, since we're on this still, right? I'm prolonging it. I think it's also like very, very PlayStation, because they also kind of have like a similar type beat, right? Where there's more gameplay, obviously. I haven't really played it. Yeah, I haven't really played it, but like I'm thinking more Spider-Man, because that's the only one that I've played in recent memory, right? It's kind of similar. Like obviously, I think there's more gameplay beats there, but the type of vibe and the way they've presented it's kind of similar.
That's also a beat 'em up.
Yeah, it is. That's true.
I think a game that I really liked that was very cinematic heavy was Last of Us, and also some of the Uncharted. So that's probably why I'm not as bothered, just because I'm.
Yeah, I also don't think it stood out for me. I do agree. I think there was a lot of cinematics, but didn't really.
I think for me there was still a lot of gameplay as well. So it was it felt like there was 15 hours of gameplay and 3 hours of cinematics, which is still a lot. But it still I felt like I was playing the game more than I was watching a movie.
Watching a movie. Yeah.
Felt is the strong word though, because still you can feel like it felt like a long time, which it felt for you.
it wasn't again. How do I put this?
I get what you mean. It like the cinematics were strong. They held on for a long time throughout the whole game.
Also, it's more like this, right? The reason why I brought up the Life is Strange 2 thing as well is this.
Is a comment that I share with you. I mentioned this.
In that, when I don't find it interesting, cinematics make it make it prolonged, right? Like I absolutely did not like the. I don't know if it's a hot take or not. I don't know how many people like Life is Strange too, but like I didn't like that story, so like it was really a nuisance to get through that. Very similarly,
a lot of people would agree with you on that one.
very similarly, right? Like I wasn't, like I said before, I wasn't too fond of the Guardians story, right? Like it was okay. It was okay in my eyes, which is why like I was like,
Before
you
you
know.
watch.
Okay, I understand. I can get behind that. Yeah, I enjoyed the story, so that's probably why I wasn't bothered.
Probably.
That makes sense. But we'll get into the story and the details of it in a bit later. Don't want to spoil it too early. But the good thing we're bringing this up, because something I said to Seshan a little bit earlier, which was the best way I can describe this game is that it reminds me of God of War, the new God of War, and Life is Strange. Because it has the beat 'em up sort of third person angle sort of fighting style where you enter an arena, it's linear, all of that, and it's heavy on the story. But also Life is Strange because you make choices, and while the choices don't alter the story that much, they alter it enough that it like has effects within the game.
Yeah.
And it tells you, like, the thing that made me think that was two things. It tells you, like, how in life is strange, this action will have consequences. It tells
right.
you helped Cosmo here, he might forget the ball, you know. But the other thing was I went into the journal, and the journal reminded me so much of Life is Strange. It reminded me of Max's journal when she's doodling and telling you the story of like what happened today in the game, recounting the game.
I actually didn't think about that too much because I think the only time I really saw it was towards the end. I think they show it at the end, right? After you're done with the.
Yes.
Okay,
but I must say, that journal makes no sense to me. It makes no sense because he's writing the journal as things are happening. For example, one part of the journal is they go into Drax's dream. Spoiler: they're going to Drax's dream, and he's writing about what in Drax's dream now. When did he write? When did he start writing? While they're in his dream trying to free him, he's writing down, we have to look for Drax. And it's written not in past tense, it's written in present tense. It was so weird. And he's doodling as well. It's odd. It doesn't make sense, but that's fine. It was more funny. It was more funny that it was game breaking for me. But yes. Audio design, music.
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 A lot of nice songs. A lot of nice songs.
I think this part was heavy inspiration from the movies, which is they had the characters like music taste, and the only music he can play be from his cassette player from the 70s, from the 80s. So that was the only music he was playing.
I don't know if y'all had this honor, but when the huddle up thing came, I had the privilege of getting the best song ever to fight to. Never gonna give you up. Let you down.
I also had I had what do you call it? Wake me up.
Oh yeah.
I might be wrong here, but I feel like they only used maybe 2 or 3.
There were a few options.
I feel like they only 3 songs in the huddle up.
I'll be honest, if they paid for the rights to those songs, they better be using all of them.
No. I mean, the songs are definitely used throughout the game. I'm just saying.
I feel like there was at least more than 3 for sure.
Maybe. I feel like it
was all random, right? Anyways, so
it is random. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Although the "Wake Me Up Before You Go," I feel like that was intentional for the scene that it was in, because it was in the second to last fight, which is very significant. That song is significant for that second to last fight.
Maybe.
Possibly.
But yes, audio design. So music was that, but it also had the traditional score. It had the orchestral score that went on, and it was pretty good. It was a pretty good score. I liked it. There was something in the audio design, which was at points Groot says "I am Groot," but I can't hear him. I see his lips moving in the cutscenes, and he's not saying anything. And then Rocket's like, "Hey, they're saying something."
I think that's just a bug. I also had a few bugs.
Yeah,
there are a few bugs.
there's a few bugs. Some of them are audio, and
Yeah.
it's Groot not saying something. Yeah. This game, presentation-wise, pretty good on the whole, I think. Cutscenes. There's something about the Avengers, the Marvels, the Square Enix Avengers, that I didn't want to play the game because of this. Which was that the characters were so uncanny valley close to the
MCU
movies,
Yeah.
the MCU version, that I was turned off. It didn't matter if they changed their personality, it didn't matter anything. I was turned off because they were so close. They were not the same, but they were close enough for me to go, ugh.
Yep.
Why does Bruce Banner look like Mark Ruffalo-ish? Again. It was things like that that turned me off. With this one, I think besides Rocket, but Rocket's a raccoon, I guess you can't.
Yeah.
But besides Rocket, everyone looked like they were referencing the movies quite a bit, and also I guess the comics. But the movies, they had an influence with the music and stuff. But they didn't look that close. They looked like their own people for the most part.
Yeah.
Voice acting.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I was just gonna say yeah. True.
Voice acting was for specifically Drax and Rocket, really. They were emulating the MCU versions of them.
Yes.
Quite a bit, you know.
Yes.
Drax sounds like Dave Bautista, and Rocket sounds like Bradley Cooper's Rocket.
I
Gamora
feel like Rocket's one is just like what comic Rocket would be like for some reason. I don't know. I mean, I
I
could.
feel like Rocket in MCU and in this feels the same. I don't know. Just
Yeah,
me
no, they do
personally.
feel the
does.
same, but like I don't know if it was like them mimicking it or whether they're just like very accurate with
No,
the
they're
representation.
mimicking it. They're mimicking it. Because
I feel like they were told to like try and match this type of
Peter Quill.
vibe.
Oh yeah.
I feel like the only ones who are different to
Quill.
the MCU is Quill,
Quill, yeah,
actually,
definitely. Come on.
Quill, Gamora, and Drax. Groot and Rocket feel the same.
Drax? You really think
Yeah.
Drax?
Because
I think Drax is very similar to Drax.
I do understand where you're coming from, though, Anuk. Go ahead.
I feel like Drax feels familiar, not similar, different because in the movies, right? He feels a bit more dumber, more like a dumbed down version of how he is in this.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, he feels like there is actually a bit more depth to him rather than just being a stone just walking around.
Yes, I agree. He feels like he's not a big dum like he is in the movies.
I don't know if it's just me, but I actually like Rocket the most.
In the game?
Yeah.
Do I like Rocket the most?
It's a question we all have to ask ourselves.
Here's the thing. The first chapter, I disliked him because he was sounding so similar to the movie version, but he was not exactly right. It felt like they were just imitating. But then as the game went on, his character developed, and for some reason that voice just grew on me. And it felt right.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. And then like I associated the voice acting anyway with this character, and like the way the character, like his character development in story and like with the voice acting, like made Rocket my favorite character from all 5 of them.
That makes sense. For me, I think it might be Drax, honestly. This version of Drax. was a lot more like he had his weaknesses, which they put on display for comedic value. Like he doesn't understand references and stuff like that. But he had this intelligence and this strength of will. But he also had his vulnerabilities that weren't just comedic. Like they actually, like in the MCU, his wife and daughter are murdered by Thanos. Family's murdered by Thanos. But he's mostly just a joke dispenser in those movies.
Yeah.
But in this, they really just even though in the narrative of the story, Thanos is already dead. Of the game, Thanos is already dead. They still brought in that trauma into the narrative, which is part of the reason why I like the story. But we'll get into that. They brought it in, and they just made his character so much more. It was interesting. It was really good. That's why I like Drax the most, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we move on, we're going to talk about gameplay in a bit. Any other points about the presentation that are highlights, lowlights?
What did you two like? Well, I assume Manuk liked Drax the most.
Not really. Actually, I need to think about it. I haven't really thought about it.
Lantha?
Dylan.
That
Yeah, no, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it.
Is it Groot?
At character
Groot.
development.
Groot is just Groot.
Yeah.
he did have a character development.
He didn't really have it.
I mean, like, maybe we'll talk about the characters later, but yeah, I feel like Groot didn't really. Groot was just there. Yeah.
He was
Obviously, he plays a role in the story.
yeah.
Quite a big role at the beginning, but yeah.
The reason why like I
Okay.
found like Rocket to be my favorite is that like he displayed a whole like variety of like emotion that was lacking for me in like the first two Marvel like Guardians movies.
MCU movie.
It came out more, I feel like, in the third one, but like his that connection he has with Groot is a lot stronger.
a lot stronger.
His what's it? Snappiness.
Camaraderie.
No, like his snappy nature. I don't know what the word is. That is also like
wit.
yeah, like
His wit.
yeah, that's a lot more prevalent in this version of the character. And like yeah, I feel like towards the end he gets a lot more team focused. And
Yeah.
and like the past trauma thing and all as well.
Yeah. I think that's something that I think like we'll get into it more in the story segment. But in this game, the camaraderie of the group being a central theme of the story, where every character, like Quill, genuinely feels like he has to be a leader. He has to like relate to people, talk to them, try and open up communication with each of them, make sure everyone's happy. It really feels like, and there are points where you have to make a choice in the story as well. And there were points where I was surprised, where I genuinely was not sure what was the right choice to make. And that's pretty good. It was pretty good because I was invested enough in these characters that there was no black and white answer for everything. Or for their personalities, because sometimes a character like Rocket does some like things where one would say he's an asshole, but at the same time he's like he's not just an asshole. He's doing it for certain other reasons, emotionally he's navigating his own way. And so it's good character writing. Overall, this game, even the story is one thing, but the character writing is very strong. I like just for the character writing, I understand why this won Best Narrative at the Game Awards. I also looked at the other nominees and definitely. Yes. All right. So if presentation out of the way, we can get into the gameplay. Because this is a game after all. This is a game after all. Let's talk about some gameplay.
I'll talk about the other half of the game now that we've spoken about the cinematics.
Oh,
the other 50% of the game is actual game.
We still We still have to talk about the story in a bit.
Oh boy, full cinematic section coming up.
So, as we said, this is a horde style
Beat 'em up.
hack and slasher
Beat 'em up.
game in third person view. And you play as Peter Quill throughout the game. You never like swap between characters. You command your companions to do things, and your companions consist of Drax, Gamora, Groot, Rocket. They never increase. They do decrease sometimes. Sometimes Gamora just goes off and does her own thing. But yeah, the movement is very. What do I say? It's very quick. It's a lot of like quick responses that are required of you. Like when an enemy is about to attack you, you can dodge out of the way with a.
Oh, you're talking,
immediately
you're talking about
responds.
combat movement, okay.
Yeah, combat movement.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, we can talk about the animation itself and how movement is in platforming, even if we want. But you have a gun. It's got some special abilities. One of the first ones you get is an ice ability to freeze things and freeze enemies.
Brr.
But otherwise, your gun goes brrr. It doesn't have a reload mechanic, but it does have a heat mechanic. And when your heat gets too high, you just have to click. You have to click the guns at the right time again for it to immediately reload, and you get back to full. Otherwise, you have to just wait for the heat meter to go down if you fail. It makes the game feel like it's constantly asking your attention, because you need to sort of be attentive to all the enemies around you, see if your allies are going down, see if there's a group of enemies for one of your allies with an AoE to go boom or catch them all.
And like
It's-
towards the end, like you need to kind of these special abilities of your guns as well, like need to be used on certain enemy types.
Yes, there's a point where you need to use your gun at certain enemies. Some enemies are weak to certain parts of your gun. Some enemies require you use certain parts of your gun.
Mm-hmm.
I overall with the combat enjoyed it by the end at the very least. Ignoring boss fights, we'll get into boss fights a little later. But the hordes were
Horde fighting was fine. Yeah.
the horde fighting was fun. I enjoyed it. I played it on the medium difficulty, whatever the medium one was, because that's what the developer said this was the intended experience. And usually I always go for whatever the developer intended.
Mhm.
That's what I prefer.
And
And
did
it's,
you go with
I
the
would say
hardest
it was a
version?
balanced challenge.
Sorry. What did I couldn't hear what you said, Sam.
Did you go with the hardest version?
Surprisingly, I went in between. I did the custom. I just
Custom
read the
difficulty.
custom
Custom.
difficulty.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh yeah, you can. I forgot that was the thing.
So it was like a mid in between, like normal and a bit hard.
Okay.
So then you went with the same as me, I think. I don't know. Either way. And as you're playing the game, you can change the difficulty from the settings, which I only
Actually,
realized.
the fact that you could change it to custom was a good thing. Like you can do however you want to do, whether you want to enjoy a story but still have a bit more exciting shooting bits, or you want to have less shooting bits, more exciting stories. Up to you. So I think that's good additional part of it.
Customizable difficulty is fun.
Yeah.
You can decide the experience better rather than letting the system keep it down.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. The game, there's points where you can upgrade yourself and give yourself things like your shield generates faster, you get more health, all of that stuff by finding materials, by just scouring around and looking for stuff. Something I regret was not getting the I don't know what you call it, magnet, not metal detector sort of beeping thing that
Really?
you when there's stuff nearby.
Yeah, I also
Right.
got that towards the end.
I was like, oh, this
What's
would have
that?
gotten me so much.
Yeah. It pays for itself, right?
It pays for itself.
It
Should have
does.
thought
Pays for
about that.
itself, yeah.
But I was like, oh, but I could get more health.
You can always get more health if you get more stuff.
Yeah.
One thing you get is on your own. Peter Quill, he also has abilities. For example, he gets like upgrades that you can as you're playing the game, you have XP, which levels you up. When you get levels up, you are able to spend those levels to purchase upgrades for you or one of the Guardians.
What?
For
Upgrade,
example,
super upgrade. Sorry.
like Quill had the where he just unloads onto in a direction
And the
like
hammer.
his guns, and it just does a ton of damage, but you can't move. Like when you do that, you just go and you can't move yourself.
It's called Fan the Hammer, Akshan.
Fan the Hammer. Thank you. I don't remember the name. You know what? You know how I remember it? It is hold L1 and then hold L3 and then push the stick up and let go. I don't remember the names because I never have to read it.
I see.
Which was one of the problems with I was having with Groot, which was, wait, which one of these three targets a single enemy? Because I don't remember.
Yeah, I definitely did use abilities, but I didn't really think about it too much when I just like quickly just selected an ability and was like, great, you do this, you do this, you do this.
I feel like
Yay.
some of the icons were a bit too similar.
Yes. I was not reading the icons at all. I was thinking up, left, right.
Yeah,
That's
I didn't even think. I just pressed whatever was in the moment and just ran with it.
Yeah. When I think in my head, for example, Gamora had a single target high damage, and I remembered it as up, X. That's how I remember that ability. L1, up, X.
Mhm.
And then it did it. Yeah, they have some fun ones, like Rocket's final when he learns how to.
Yeah, Rocket's ultimate basically.
His
Ultimate
ultimate.
killer.
Mhm.
That's good. I think all the Guardians actually have good ultimate skills.
I've
Let's
never
just got to
used-
get them.
I never
right at the
used
end.
Groot.
Groot's is the healing one, right? I
Yeah.
think.
I never use Groot's because I just let him have it so that when I die, I just revive and I
Yeah.
don't have to restart the
Yeah.
fight again.
It auto
Reses you. Which
yeah,
is
auto
good.
res.
I
Yeah,
feel like Groot's holding ability was good too. Like
his
stun
holding
them.
ability is very good.
Yeah,
Because
that's a nice one.
on a certain big enemy, a large enemy, there's a
Yeah.
point where its head hits the ground and you stun for a bit, but the stun bar like shrinks and you have to sort of get in damage while the stun bar is shrinking. If you use Groot's hold ability, the stun bar stops, and so you can
Yeah.
hit him for a lot longer. And that was useful because that fight went on for a while.
I actually developed like a combo for like the smaller group of enemies that like it just to one shot them. I would use
Yeah.
use rockets like that magnetic grenade where it
Yeah.
like brings them all together.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I would put Gamora's multi-target.
Yeah. we both had the same idea.
You guys use the meta strat to get through the game.
And if they still had a bit of health, I would use Groot's the spikes to knock off that last bit of health.
I had a beautiful moment where I used rockets, like grab everybody and put them in one place, and there was a beautiful little bomb right under that rocket so could explode. It's just
Amazing.
boom! It was beautiful. The game gives you a lot of opportunity to make to express your own like sort of combos. It doesn't. I'm trying to think. Was a lot of there was not much cutscene combat, was there?
There's no cut.
There's no
cutscene.
Is there cutscene combat?
There was never. Yeah, I don't think there was. That's the thing. That's one thing I liked about this game. A lot of every single time your character was doing something cool, it was usually you who was doing it, who was like executing the moves, and so you felt it didn't feel like you were watching a movie when you were in combat.
Well, other than the finishers, I feel like
I'm trying to remember the finish.
or like
that's what you do. Triangle Zero.
No, not like like what was it? Like it happens in most boss battles where like Or like with the bigger enemies where like a button will appear on screen and like you press that one and then
You press it and then it.
yeah,
you
one of
go
the
finish it. I
guardians
remember
does
that,
something.
Yeah. I think I know what you mean. Yeah, that you don't get to do anything in that, but you just click a button. I think because there are just so many enemies that when that happens, it's a moment for me to be like, let me stretch my fingies.
Let me stretch my fingies.
I have to ask, did y'all use Peter Quill's like melee at any point?
Yes,
I did,
at the end of the
Yeah.
game.
I know.
I did.
Like halfway through the game,
It's-
I was like, oh, he can hit people.
Yeah, I do agree. It's not prominent at all. You don't know about it, but
Yeah.
I did it a couple of times. Just on. Again, if people jump
Yeah.
on you, that's really the only time you need it.
I started using it when I got the upgrade, which allows me to get more health when I melee somebody as a finisher. And that's when I was like, okay, he's low.
It's actually pretty good. It's better than like guns in some instances.
Yeah, it's pretty good. The main issue is that while you're hitting, someone can come from behind and just like smack you and knock you down.
You're open, yeah.
Yeah, you're open. And it's not effective on certain ranged enemies, although you can do a certain thing. The combat was kind of control chaos because of the amount of hordes that were coming, but you could still sort of maintain the horde. There's a lot of crowd control as we talk about Rocket being able to move people
I think
together.
everyone had a crowd control except Gamora.
Yes. Drax had a charging thing, which it took me a while to understand how it worked, but it's just you position yourself so there's a straight line in front of you, and then you do the Drax ability, and he just runs forward and knocks people in.
You don't even need to position yourself. He auto positions.
He does, but you also have to pick the person in the back. Otherwise, he'll just go to the person you picked and not continue.
Yeah.
He does auto go. That was fun. It's fun. It's fun going up against these hordes. It didn't get too stale by the end. It felt like there was enough enemy variety throughout. I don't know if we disagree, but there was enough enemy variety throughout. There was the Nova Corps. There was the whatever the monsters, the little squid boys, the cubes. There was enough enemy variety that it didn't get too stale. It didn't feel like I was just hitting the same enemy.
I just felt like the last few chapters were a bit of an overkill.
I kind of feel that, but I also actually, which last chapters?
Specifically when you're outside.
When you're
you go to the mothership and you're like on the outside of it.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I didn't feel it then, I guess, but I do understand. It is just a lot. It's just a lot of combat, level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I enjoyed it for the most part. The horde style combat, enjoyed it. I didn't encounter too many bugs in the combat specifically.
Yeah, my bugs were mainly story based ones.
I feel like mine did bug, but I can't remember what it was. I think this was the game in general. There were a lot of moments where I needed to reload.
Oh, I also had to reload. Yeah.
I had to reload quite a bit. So because something would get stuck or something like that, or I just couldn't progress from what I was doing. So
yeah.
there's
There
a
are
couple
some
of reload
bugs.
moments.
There are some bugs like that, but there are also some like just oversights, like things where you just sort of soft locked and you have to reload. Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah. So I can't remember exactly what the combat ones were, but I feel like I did. I feel like I did it in that way. I guess they did. Either they saw it coming and prepared. Prepared a solution for it.
do remember one. I
There you go.
remember one.
This is what I do. This is what I do.
There was a point where you're fighting. Okay, so there's one thing where when a cutscene ends, I very often, just out of habit, start to try and move the camera before the cutscene's over so that I could like position and look around. But the game is not like ready for me most of the time. So the camera just sort of goes away while Peter Quill is somewhere else.
Oh no.
But then after about a few seconds, it corrects itself. However, there was one fight where a creature came out and I was moving the camera and then it moved. And then suddenly I couldn't control Peter. But then I also couldn't control anybody and nobody was attacking anything. And the monster was just standing there and just looked around, looking for enemies. I couldn't move anybody. The game was stuck. It was a weird, awkward sight.
Amazing.
And I had to reload. That was one. Another one was Groot fell off the map.
Oh yeah, I had.
Sorry. On that note, I just want to say something funny. I think this was in Fin Fang Foom section. I remember I was doing. There's a lot of climbing and moving around, right? I remember I jumped off one particular area to like jump down, and then Drax came and knocked me off the side. Off the side of the mountain. I know. I'm pretty sure that wasn't a bug. Like not intentional, but you know what I mean. Like it wasn't a bug, but it was just really funny to see. He just get knocked and falling over.
NPC
Yeah.
kills you.
NPC kills me. My own teammate.
I had
Drax the Destroyer of progress.
I had Rocket disappear on me during some story part. It was a part where he
Rocket and Groot do disappear during the story. That's true.
no.
Thank you, Devanta.
Oh, spoiler! Sorry, guys. Sorry. But,
As in, like, I don't know what happened. He like walked through the floor, and like for some reason I couldn't progress. I was like wondering what's happening. And then like when I reload the game, it turns out I needed Rocket to access a panel so that we could go to the next part of the game. I was like, that's why I'm stuck. That and then the stupid computer thing, which I was trying to tell you all about. I don't know how many of you.
You've been telling about.
I don't know how.
There's a point in the game.
I didn't. Yeah, I did get to that part after you mentioned it, but I didn't really get it. As in get the bug or whatever.
It's not a bug. It's not a bug. I know what he's talking about. I only realized like that was the moment after it went, and I was like, that's what he's talking about. There's a point where you have to interact with a computer, literally in the game, and you have to look through all the files. Well, you have to look through the most important ones, and then you can leave, and you've gotten the story stuff. You can leave, but it doesn't tell you what the button to leave is.
Yeah,
and so I realized. I just clicked a bunch of buttons, and when I clicked triangle, it took me out of it. But it doesn't say that there.
Yeah.
So Seshad had to just click escape because he on the keyboard, even though he was on control.
No, I went and found a forum that said press F on the keyboard.
Oh, okay. Thank you, forums.
Thank you, forum. Yeah. I mean, I think overall it is buggy, but not so game breaking like I want to say others, but I feel like I shouldn't just say that. But you know, I mean, it's fixable stuff.
Fixable, yeah. It's been only been 3 years.
Well, I'm
but
not to put them down, but I'm pretty sure.
They're not working on it anymore. They're not supporting it. There's a general feeling of polish that could have gone into this game. It doesn't ruin the game. It's just like moments. I remember Drax was walking on a box and he was doing a moonwalk, and the box was moving with him. I remember that now. There's a general feeling of unpolished, nail polish removal. It needed polish.
If they were allowed to patch it, I think we wouldn't like. If they were allowed to patch it after launch, they probably would have fixed up quite a few of the things that we noticed.
Maybe so.
My guess is they didn't. They were just told, "Okay, the game's out. Bye bye." Just like that.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, it's a finished game. It's a finished game.
It is. Yeah. It's not. Of course.
There's nothing open-ended for a battle pass, for a season pass for the future. It's got no microtransactions. It is a complete experience. You can just get it and you have the whole thing. You don't have to wait for anything more.
I think
That's
in
thumbs
the
up in my
run-up,
book.
in the run-up to the game, I think they had to keep on mentioning that it was a single-player game. No
Exactly.
partly because of Marvel Avengers at the time
Yeah,
and
yeah.
coming right after that. So
Yeah. And also I think Justice League versus Suicide Squad versus Justice League was kind of coming out, and that was also live service. But I don't know. I'm speaking on my ass. All right. So
true, that came a couple of years later, but again, the vibe at the time was
Yeah.
that this was going to be one of them too.
Yeah.
So
yeah, live services are high at that point. It's coming down now because there's so many, but it was at a high, so people were concerned. But let's go into one more thing. Huddle up, as Sashan said. When the huddle up first happened, I was in the first chapter, and the first chapter I didn't like for story reasons. So when the huddle up happened, I was like, "This is bullshit. This is so stupid. This is so stupid." We have to give motivational speech, and they're all kneeling forward, like, "What do we do, Will?" Like, this is stupid. And then as the game went on, I don't think my opinion changed, even though I liked the game more. But it felt really weird. It still feels really weird. The huddle up mechanic.
It is. I was cringing each time. I was physically cringing each time. I can feel the blood of my enemies. Let Flarkin do this, Quill.
I think even that also in the huddle up, there was only about 5 or 6
Yeah, it was just repeated
interactions, which is not great for that type of repeated. So they repeat 5 or 6 of the different.
It's the same thing. I think I have some of them memorized. Guys, it's not about the highs. It's about maintaining focus. So go out there and kick some scut bucket, whatever.
I will say though that
Speech, Quill.
You said it, Quill. Let's get him.
I am
I will say this though. I do like how, even though the whole interaction itself is cringe, I stand by that too. I do like how at least what they were trying to go for in terms of like, you do need to really pay attention to what they're saying, and you can't just be like positive. Like that's one thing I thought the whole thing was okay. You need to fire them up positivity, but that's actually not true. You're just supposed to. The main thing is to react to what they're saying. Like, even if it's something like, don't get overexcited. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that was like, they could have easily just been like, great job, guys, keep it up, and called it a day on the whole thing. But I feel like they tried to vary it as much as they could. Obviously, they didn't do it enough. But it's nice that they didn't make it just positive cheer. They made it grounded. They made it, they made it make sense as a cheer up. For the most part, still cringe, but makes sense.
I like the emphasis on like Quill being a leader and having to motivate his team. Like, it was mechanically trying to implement that. I just wish it wasn't
cringe.
I wish it wasn't huddle up.
Guys,
huddle up. Oh, one bug there. It's a very small one, but and it's not even funny. It's just like I noticed.
And
music player, right?
Yeah.
Once when he did it, he was holding it up, but the music player was.
Oh.
It's a small thing. I noticed. I was like, I saw him holding it. It's still there.
That's funny. That's good. The huddle up again.
Question: Did you on your first time when you had a huddle up? Did you win it or did you lose it?
Yeah, that was easy. That was an easy one.
It's actually pretty
The first
easy
time,
because
the first time you got it. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, because like even the things that they're saying like show up in words behind them. So like if you read that, you kind of get an understanding of what they're like what they're saying and how to respond to it.
Yeah.
I think I got it right the first time, but I kept on after that because again I thought you had to be just say the most positive
just
thing,
positive.
but it's not. It's again just reacting to what they're saying.
But even then,
Yeah.
like, there's very little, like, there's no bad side for me for like doing that, because
there is no downside. Yeah,
because
that's
either
true.
you power up the team or you just power up yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no downside to it. I used it accidentally sometimes because there was points where I was
Same.
shooting.
Same.
I was using an ability. Sorry. I was shooting the elements gun, like the ice gun,
And then you try
and
to
then
use
I wanted to use
yeah.
one of my teammates' abilities, and so I clicked L1. But I was clicking R1 already, so it's like, all right, guys, I'm already at full health. The fight's nearly over. Why am I using this?
Yep.
And I was like, God damn it. It was yes. I'm just trying to remember one thing about the huddle up. Oh yeah, I don't think I ever failed it because it was quite simple. I was just reading what was behind them and then reading my choice of dialogue. I was like, that word is in here in this sentence, and I just used it. And it never went bad for me. So I don't actually know what happens. Actually, sorry, I know what happens. It just never happened to me.
No.
All right, then. So yeah, that's the majority of the gameplay. Beyond exploration, which is the next thing. When you're going through the world, going through the levels, it's a linear stretch, but it's open in its sort of pathways. Not really the final destination, but more like you can go through to some area to find these extra materials to help you upgrade, which is useful if you're going down the path. I didn't really look for things actively. I just sort of passively found stuff.
When you say you didn't look for things, what do you mean?
Materials to upgrade.
Right,
yourself.
right. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I was
I
actively
just
looking because I wanted new outfits.
okay, I forgot about that. That's a point. What do y'all think of the outfits?
I only changed them for the achievement. It's nothing else.
I for some reason I somehow got all of Drax's outfits. I don't know how.
Oh,
I
wow.
wasn't looking for them.
Oh wow.
I think I almost got all of Rockets.
I got one of Rocket.
I got most of Rockets. I only found one of Drax.
I'd say
I also only found one of Drax. I think I got all of the Nova Corp outfits.
I think I also. Oh no, I didn't get Rockets.
I only. Yeah, I don't know.
Here's the thing about the outfits. All right, it's weird.
It is.
Points in the cutscenes. I put on Groot's nightmare outfit, which is where Groot looks like this nightmare creature with these devilish eyes.
Yeah.
And it was in the scene where you're speaking to Lady Hellbender. Lady Hellbender.
Is it Hellbender?
Yes, Hellbender. Lady Hellbender. And trying to auction him off. And it was just so, I was like, this is such a weird because I think they're trying to make Groot look like an innocent tree in that scene, like the way they're talking about him, and he's just this demon standing there.
I had another similar bug with one of the outfits. Gamora has an outfit where she has a cape.
I have that as well.
Yeah, so in the huddle up sequence, it goes through her body. She leans over and it just like goes through her body. I'm like, yeah, okay. I think this one through it, y'all.
This is not a bug. This is just funny. It might be a bug. It's not a bug. It can't be a bug. This is funny. Drax, whenever you switch his outfits, his nipples bounce.
That's intentional. That's intentional. That is the most intentional intentional feature I've ever heard.
It's so funny. Just swapping his outfits. Oh man.
How many hours did you spend on that?
I had 20 hours in the game, so must be 3.
I'm pretty sure you said. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you started by saying you played 18 hours like of the actual like story. So then that means
So
you
that
spent
would-
about 2 hours on track.
He spent 2 hours looking at.
No, I said 3 hours in cutscene, 15 hours in game, right? That's what I said.
Oh, yeah. So again, 18.
3
You
hours in
said
cut nipples. Oh god. Yeah. So, Drax's nipples aside, the cust. This game has a. This game is a. There's something that it's not just this game, but a lot of games of this type, which is kind of died down, maybe. But it was in Alan Wake 2 as well. It was in Far Cry 6, which is why is there character customization in a linear, like story focused game? Because it takes up so much GB, like of data, to have all of those models individually ready and in the game. It takes up file size to such a degree. I don't know why they have. Far Cry 6 is the worst. This one is not as bad. There's more comment in general. Stop. It's not a live service game, not a multiplayer game. Don't put character customization, especially if it's in first person, where you don't see that. This game is at least in third. But when you don't see them, what's the point? Far Cry 6? 175. Anyway, so there's a little bit of puzzle elements to this game as well, but it's not that like it's enough that you are engaged with movement, I guess, throughout the game as you're going from point A to point B. Like each character has their own ability. Like Rocket can hack, Groot can make a bridge of trees, Drax can carry
Drax
stuff.
can lift stuff. Gamora climbs up and you climb Gamora.
And she cuts
Yes, she climbs.
stuff.
And she cuts.
Yes, she
Yeah.
cuts.
I will say it is very useful that towards the end they auto do that themselves, because
Yes.
after a certain point it gets annoying.
Yes. I do agree. It was nice that they did it themselves. It did make
I
me
do
feel
like
like
how I do like how at the beginning though, as what you select someone thinking they can do it and they're just like, no.
No, Quill.
No, Quill. I Rocket can't lift this big.
Let me throw the rodent.
Did y'all throw Rocket?
No, not really. For the first
No.
time, for the first time, no. But afterwards, yes.
Oh, I threw
You
him
threw him
the
the
first
second
time.
time?
I threw him the
I
first time.
I didn't throw him at all.
I didn't throw him at all. No.
I threw him the first time and he volunteered the second time.
There's a little bit of character development there towards the end, with the rocket throw.
Second time, did you volunteer? Did
Oh,
I
no,
thought it's the third time.
you're oh yeah, third time, as in like not in the same level, like later on
No,
he
even
volunteered.
in my one, he volunteered the third time.
Yeah, second time you decided you had to.
The end, I think that's just a story.
Yeah.
Dude. It's just
because
Yeah.
at that point he's willing to do things that makes him uncomfortable for
Yeah.
the team, for the greater good, which was his character growth, which was fun, cool, and he didn't even need to. But yes, the environmental interaction was quite limited. It's mostly just getting collectibles and getting materials to give
I feel
yourself
like the
upgrades.
other puzzle ones are probably the better. Like the one with the electricity one where you're changing.
Oh yeah, that was good. That was enjoyable.
That was
bad.
enjoyable. What was the other one? There was another one where like Rocket, like he does something where in the X-ray mode you can see there are some things you to flip like
Yeah.
that.
I just remembered one. It's not a puzzle. I know this is not a puzzle, but there's one point where you are logging into a system, into like Novaco or something, and you have to pick your language.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did y'all pick English or did y'all pick one of the other ones first?
I picked it.
I went through all of them because for a moment there I couldn't figure out how to progress because I kept on picking everything but the option to progress. So I had to go back and I thought try the different languages and that's don't be stupid, it's English obviously.
One of the languages is Groot's language. I forgot what they call it.
Groot.
Groot's language. And at some point, like Groot is translating everything. And at some point, Groot just says, "I am Groot," and Rocket's like, "He's telling you to just go to English." And he stops helping you from there on. It was beautiful. That was a fun one. There's a lot of comedic moments. One thing that, if you're watching, you can see them holding a toothbrush. Then if any of y'all go to the bathroom on the Milano and just catch characters using your toothbrush.
Not really, no.
I watched
No,
that scene.
I don't even know. I don't even know the parts.
So there's a running joke that every time you go to the bathroom, every time you get to the Milano, you'll find a new character in there holding the toothbrush. And Phil's like, "Why are you using my toothbrush, man?" And Gamora's like, "I thought it was a nail cleaner." And Rocket's like, "I use it to get into the nasty spaces. It's hard to reach, you know."
What was Drax using it for? He was just holding it.
It was something like a head massage. No, head scalp
It's
something.
scratching.
Yeah.
And
Something
Groot?
like that. I don't remember Groot. It was something.
Groot just said, "I am Groot."
He said, "I am Groot." Yes. And then finally, you go into the bathroom and no one's there, and you can go to the toothbrush. You pick it up, about to brush, and the girl's like, "Everyone's used this, man." Just throws it in the bin. Another funny thing was the fridge.
It keeps opening.
Yeah, it keeps opening.
Yeah, I didn't notice that too.
I thought I was like conspiracy theorying about this fridge because I was going around. I closed the fridge, then I went around in a circle. I came back and the fridge was open again. I was like, "Who's doing this?" Then there's a point in the story where Drax goes away, and I was like, "Wait, is the fridge closed? Is Drax the one opening it?" But I don't think it is. And then Matt.
Conspiracy override.
Yeah. Conspiracy ended when Mantis says, "Oh, that's broken in every reality." That'll never close. Yeah. Little throat. All right. So another thing about gameplay is there's about 3 to 4 spaceship battles that occur. I honestly, I have no opinion. What do you all think?
Not a fan.
Not a fan, not
It
a
was shooting serviceable, but I feel like
the
it was
controls.
too.
The controls were weird.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Playing on
Yeah.
keyboard is not helpful.
The
Yeah.
the initial controls felt weird but manageable. Then when you get free flight and shooting, it gets even worse because when usually your left joystick, I'm assuming
Yeah.
Akshan and Dilantos played controller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So left joystick's usually movement, right is camera. So then you're just like in this, it does a weird thing where left is still movement, but right is like do a barrel roll or like do like something else, and I'm just like, why can't you just let it be normal?
Yeah, there were many times where I was like, "Oh, I want to see what's behind me. Let me move the camera," and then I do a barrel roll and face the thing that I was trying to look at.
Yeah. It's not a very intuitive like control, like whatever.
Yeah, I feel like they should have. Yeah, I feel like they should have it's just one thing. I think if they just changed that thing, suddenly the combat would be fine.
Yes.
I wouldn't be as bothered.
Yeah.
Maybe like put it to a different button to like do a barrel, like keep those mechanics, but keep it to a different button and like let the free flight be the norm.
Like L1, R1, like it could have been fine.
Yeah.
I don't think we needed the do a barrel roll and turn the other way.
It is good for like very few things, but it didn't need to be the whole control scheme.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thankfully, not very many spaceship battles, so you're not going to be grinding your gears for it. Plus, if you find it annoying and difficult, you can just change the difficulty in the menu.
No spaceship flying in general, which is also welcome
There's not
for me
much.
personally.
Yeah, there's
It's a
not much
bit
space
sad,
to
but
I mean, I get what you mean, but I feel like there are like every space game does it, so I'm okay with a couple of them not having it. That's-
fair enough.
just saying.
I don't play space games. I guess I don't know.
I
I mean,
wouldn't.
Outer Wilds is a spaceship game. Just
Oh
putting that
yeah,
out there.
that was good.
I mean,
Although that was yeah. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like I did enjoy like the first initial sequence of the spaceship thing, not the
Spaceship.
battlefield part, like just the escape part. I feel like maybe that could have been like another level I would have enjoyed.
A
Possibly,
linear,
possibly.
just go forward. Yeah, wouldn't be fine with that. All right, let's then. We might get into spoilers for some. We'll just a blanket spoiler, and as we go on, we'll get more and more spoilery. So here's your one and only spoiler warning. Let's talk about boss fights. Boss fights were not the worst for me. I think it was towards the end that they started to feel like bullet sponges more than they were.
That surprised me too, because at the beginning, I swear that they were very creative in terms of what they were doing. Because like each one, it's not just about shooting. You have to break something, do something,
Yes.
separate them, do this. There was a little thing to it, right?
Yeah.
And then towards the end, where you thought it's gonna ramp up, they were just like, "Oh no, just shoot him and just shoot them and then end."
Just shoot him, but for long.
It was not disappointing. Like personally, for me, it's not disappointing because, like, I mean, I would rather just get the thing over with and move forward. But I was just surprised because they were clearly going for like more creativity with the boss fights.
That first
Yeah.
boss fight though, huh?
I'll be honest with you. What was the first boss fight? I don't remember.
You
The
don't
first boss fight was that thing, right?
The llama?
No, wait. First boss fight is the goat, right?
no
Is it?
Llama?
no, it's
No?
not the llama.
Okay.
No, first
It's right
The
after
llama.
it's right wasn't it supposed to be right after the llama, that massive
Ye-
red color thing which got killed by the
yeah, it was supposed to be that.
I'll be honest,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I also don't remember. Here's how much I didn't like the first.
Okay,
chapter.
you know those creatures.
Do you get an achievement for beating it?
No, because
Then is it a boss fight?
yes, because the whole the boss health bar and everything appears.
Right. Okay.
Oh, but is it one of those like you're not meant to beat it boss fights?
Yeah, no, you know those creatures that help Lady Hellbender like in the final battle, and like those like red color anglerfish looking type of things. So like the Guardians go to that area in the first chapter to try to capture that thing, but then the eventual big bad of the entire story kills it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember this. I'll be honest with you.
I mean, like the actual proper first boss fight is
Yeah. Oh, but was it a fight? I just remembered it as a cutscene.
No, because the health bar appears and then you're just like you're ready to fight it, but then
Amazing. I don't remember this at all. I'm shocked.
but the proper boss fight was the one at Lady Hellbender's.
Yeah, then you get a Lady Hellbender, chapter 3-ish.
Four.
Chapter 4. So
Yeah.
chapter 3 was getting to Lady Hellbender. Chapter 4 was
Yeah.
yeah. Boss fights. Stuff. I don't know what I would say.
It's they were clearly going for something, but towards the end, just dropped it.
Yes,
Whatever they're trying to do. Yeah.
I think the thing that made me go, okay, this is weird, was the final, not the final, but the final boss, chapter 15, was he had like 4 health bars. Like, oh, I got through one. Oh, it's new again. I got through. Oh, it's new again. Oh, it's just I just had
Who
to
is
keep
this
shooting
again?
him. Big faith dude, bald boy.
Breaker.
Yeah. Just keep shooting him. Just shoot, 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 shoot. Use ability, knock him down, shoot, shoot, shoot.
Yeah.
I'm blinded. Guess I'll shoot. It was not that infuriating as I'm painting it right now for me, but by like the final health bar, I was like, we didn't need to go this long.
That's kind of roll with. Yeah.
It was I still it was not a bad boss fight either, and none of them were really in my mind. They were not bad. They were not the greatest like memories I have of the game.
I think
although-
Fang Foam was the only good one for me, and the
Fing Fang Foom.
Fing
Yeah.
Fang Foom and
Was
then
it Fin Fang Foom also just a shoot and kill it?
It
Yeah, but
was
it felt more satisfying, more than Reika and more than the final one either.
yeah, because he was quite a threat, Fing Fang Foom, with just how much he was throwing at you.
I guess, yeah. Fair
You
enough.
had to dodge a lot. Like you weren't just shooting, dodge a
it
little.
wasn't a bullet sponge kind of situation.
It wasn't
Yeah.
a bullet
Yeah,
sponge.
it was only when he's stunned that you're like, oh, unload everything into, you know.
Yeah.
It was I enjoyed Fing Fang Foom's fight.
Speaking on
I was-
side note on that. Actually, remember I told you when playing through this game,
yeah,
there was a part, right, where Rocket says, I heard that Fing Fang Foom wears purple shorts. And when I heard that line, I was like, is it the Hulk?
yeah. I think they were trying to allude that it's the Hulk, that it's going to be the Hulk. But obviously it was.
I mean, it was purple and green.
yeah.
Proper enough.
Who knows?
Probably
Maybe
not.
maybe Fing Fang Foom is gamma radiated, like the Hulk.
Maybe.
They all gamma radiated.
Get that gamma.
Gamora.
Yeah, and not to spoil the final boss fight, but I did not like that one.
Neither did I.
I didn't like the quick time event at the end because I kept failing it. And
Really?
the problem is when you fail it, you had to do
Yep. Yeah.
Full day.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you have to keep
Wow.
going over and over and over again.
Yeah,
Wow,
you
I'm
keep-
glad I got it then.
yeah. If you mess it up, even if you mess it up right at the end, there's no checkpoint in between to do the whole thing again. So yeah,
Do the
that
whole
one is
fight again.
not the whole fight, the whole quick time event.
Okay.
The thing is,
So bad.
the event is annoying. Like the fight is bad, but the cutie is even more annoying than the fight.
That's one of those combat cutscenes. Even though you are technically directing, it is still a combat cutscene. That the game doesn't have too much of, but it happens there.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yes.
combat cutscenes. I think the only other ones are when like you like receive new powers for the gun. No.
Do those happen in combat or
no,
don't
no,
those
not
just happen?
There is
No,
Oh.
but like it counts as like a combat cutscene because like they're like bring the left and right
Right.
joystick together,
Mm.
press R1.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Actually, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. That is right. That does happen. Yeah, that happens. Yeah. All right. I think we can go into. I think we touched on everything about the gameplay, about the mechanics of the game, boss
Mhm.
fights, combat, enemies. Let's go into the most spoiler-filled thing: the story.
Ooh, the thing it won an award for.
The thing it won an award for. The game has a great amount of emphasis on the story, so I think it's fair to have a little section for it. So, a big theme of the story is living with your living with the traumas of the past.
Yeah.
Like that's a major thing about all of the characters have to go through it, and also the major antagonist is sort of against it. Like thematically, he's against that idea, and it's just fantasied out into this power, this faith energy that is giving people what they want, which is a lie. And I I like how the story handled all of that. Firstly, they handle it with each of the Guardians. Each of the Guardians are kind of dealing with it, except for Groot. He's just there.
It's just along for the ride.
He's just along for the ride. But each of the Guardians kind of handles it. No, Rocket as well.
Yeah, I mean Rocket. Rocket got over his.
Oh yeah, I forgot why
water-
he has the
water
face.
for-
Fear of water, yeah.
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 I think it's pretty much everyone. Groot's was kind of shoehorned in.
I think Groot is a character who has already dealt with his trauma, and he's more of the set. He's more of the
Yeah.
He's the support
I
kind
see.
anyway.
yeah. He's the rock of the group. He's the tree.
He's the
He's the Dwayne Johnson of the group.
He's the Dwayne Johnson of the group.
I see.
Newspaper. He beats Rock.
The game I was the first act of the game, first chapter of the game I did not like. But when the game went into the second chapter where you meet Nikki and you meet Quill's ex from the war, it was at that moment where the game really started to interest me, because they were introducing very different things that I was expecting from the story. Like they were introducing this character, they were introducing this life is strange sort of like consequences to your actions, sort of choices in the story that I was interested in. I was interested in where they were taking it. But this is revealed early on, so this won't be too much of a spoil for anyone who's like still listening and they don't want spoilers too much. But Nikki is 12 years old, and Quill met Nikki's mother 12 years ago, and they were a thing 12 years ago. And so I was expecting the game to have, like, when they talked about that, I was expecting the game to really like be very not obvious about, like, not be aware that the audience would clock that, would think that. I thought they were going to hide that and have it a big reveal at the end. Oh, she's actually your daughter, you know? But then there was a dialogue choice where Quill himself is thinking, the numbers, the math, the math adds up. And I was like, oh, okay. They're introducing that early, meaning they're going to develop it and make it even more interesting later. And that's when I started being a little bit more invested in the story, because I was thinking, oh, they're gonna add to it. They're not gonna have this just, the boring ass. Oh, you're the father.
Yes, but then don't they kind of tear it away?
Yes.
Yeah, at the end.
No,
That's a story.
it's a spoiler. I mean,
Oh,
I guess it's a
so
spoiler.
We're past that at this point. I don't know.
But that's the thing. Because they introduced it so early, and they said, okay, now Quill is aware that she might be his daughter. They could have taken it anywhere then. I was not expecting where it could go, because earlier I expected them to reveal that he's the father. Now he might be the father, but I'm not sure now, because the story hasn't 100% confirmed any of that. And so it was still hanging in the balance. And so when it did reveal,
Peter Quill, you are not the father.
because she is not the mother.
And you, Corel, are not the.
But the thing I liked about that reveal was that it made Nikki's lie even more of a lie to herself that she was telling, because it compounded the lie. Because not only is Quill not your father, that woman's not your mother.
You're an orphan.
You're an orphan. I mean, she's still her mother in the sense that she raised her.
Yeah.
But it sort of compounded the lie. And it made the next scene where they're talking a lot more. What's the word?
Sad.
Poignant.
Poignant.
Sad.
Poignant is a very good word, though. Poignant's a very good word.
Yeah, thank you. I have a dictionary. uh, and the other thing I liked was how they had Quill go through his arc really early on, where his promise is given to him, and he rejects it. Unless you didn't reject it, and you got the end credit scene right there.
Sorry, I was just gonna say that. Did everyone? Did any of y'all skip that?
Which one?
Did any of y'all when
Get the early end credit scene?
Yeah,
Yes.
when Quill's mother hugs him, and they go off. Did you reject it early, or did you let her hug him and then see the next scene?
I can't remember.
I'll let Anuka let you go.
I think I did. I think I did reject. I can't remember now.
Did you see a scene where Quill is working on the farm as adult Quill, and his mother calls him in, and Drax is inside his
And
parents'
all the
houses?
guardians
Yeah.
actually.
And they're like, "Hey, Quill."
And like they're acting normal, but then you notice as the scene's playing out, the is
The border,
the
like
monster called
the border, like
Magnus,
border starts to
the
shrink.
promise. Yeah, it keeps on like shrinking it until like the whole scene vanishes and
Yeah.
then the credits play.
yeah.
Yeah, it just keeps consuming you.
I
I think I
involuntarily
just-
played that 5 times because
Oh, you had no idea.
no, that's not the reason.
Okay.
My buttons
What?
did not work when I was trying to reject the promise. I was trying over and over and over again.
Okay,
You can't quit and come back. It just loads you back up there. You gotta go through the damn thing over and over and over again. And I'm like, scare you.
oh
amazing.
man, that's
That's what-
funny. Your controller beat.
Yeah. And it doesn't give you the prompt also. It doesn't tell you what you're supposed to do.
It doesn't give you the prompt. I will say that, but I mean, true. If you wanted to just get it over with, I understand that. But I am also kind of glad I did end up seeing it without
Yeah,
just
I'm-
quickly like.
I
yeah.
was glad too the first time. And
Yeah.
maybe the second.
I would imagine by the fourth time, it's not exactly anymore.
No, it's not.
Fixing your car, like.
Yeah, and you can't
This
stop.
part doesn't seem to be the problem. What about this one? Oh, you can have that one. Maybe this one. Oh, looks like the car is fine after all. That's not how the
It
scene
gave me
plays
enough
out.
time to find where Groot was.
Actually, I can't remember seeing. Where
Yeah,
is
like-
Groot?
Yeah, because
That's probably
Groot. Yeah, because Groot's not in the house. He's in the backyard. He's under a tree.
Okay.
That's how much time I had in there.
I did not see it. I did not see everybody. I was listening to their conversation, but the thing was just shrinking, so I just never.
Yeah, I saw Drax because Drax I think is the first one you run in kitchen, and then if you go to the
This mug
living
is shoddy.
if you go to the living room, you can see Gamora and Rocket watching a game, and that's where I thought it ended. That's when my screen blacked out. So yeah,
Yeah, and then it tells you, "Do you?"
good scene, very 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 impactful. What
Yeah,
I do
very,
here,
very
and
good.
then
It was pretty
yeah.
good scene. It was pretty good scene, especially
that whole I think that was chapter 8, right? That whole thing.
Yeah.
That chapter was quite an emotive chapter
It
for
was
me.
good. It was very good because it gave you a very strong context for why anybody would be succumbed to this curse. Let's call it to the faith energy, because a lot of these people probably also have their own regrets or their own traumas, and the fact that this is just giving them a very real, tangible, in their minds anyway, tangible world where nothing is wrong, everything goes according to their plan and their wills and whimsy. It contextualizes this mind control thing in a very strong way, and it also that in tandem with Drax's chapter, where you are going into his promised land and seeing what he gets to see and seeing what he has to do to break the promise, which that's also a devilish thing. The fact you have to kill the people that you love in the promised land to get out of the dream is devilish. That is a hard, like, just thinking about it. It's a hard. That is a hard thing to convince someone to get out of. That sort of delusion. Yeah, and it makes sense why Nikki is like so strongly in it, because she is a child who just lost her mother, just found out. Well, as far as she's aware, just found out that Quill's her father. As far as she doesn't know.
What did y'all think about the is it a plot twist? I guess technically, right? The matriarch reveal.
That it's her.
Yeah.
I was again like another layer of, oh, this is so interesting. I thought it was just going to be Nikki and Quill having like Nikki's running away. She's a kid running away from her mom, and then Quill's like, oh, you get on my ship, your mom's gonna be so mad at me. I thought that was gonna happen. I thought that scene was gonna, but then she was under mind control after just one scene with Quill.
Yeah.
And suddenly Quill has to only met this kid once and has to try and convince her that she's that her mom has just died, that she has to accept that.
She has to accept that she is it. Yeah.
He
Yeah,
has to go through every hero's backstory. Dead
Yeah.
parents.
yes, exactly.
But this time she's
Gamora's-
going through it twice because she's an orphan.
Oh my god, Sarah.
Oh man.
That which is double the hero.
Yeah.
They did a good job of establishing Nikki as being this really like what do you call it? Excitable, like optimistic, like kid, because it made her being under the mind control and being in this promised land all the more like tragic.
I'll
It
be
just
honest.
happened so fast.
I'll be honest. As much as the reveal surprised me, now that I played the whole thing through, I feel like I think they should have had one more Quill Nikki scene before that reveal. It could have been it could have been anything, but I feel like just one more would have actually at that moment really gotten you like at the height of shock. Because I think I only really feel it after going through the whole thing and like obviously watching the Nikki's promise and whatnot, and then actually like realize learning her story. Okay, golden child and whatnot, right? Yeah.
Are you saying you feel like they didn't bond enough to make it?
No. I get
Just
why.
need more
I,
Nikki.
I get why Quill did the. It's not. I mean, like obviously they were already like he was already feeding it when like thinking, oh, God, so I kind of get that. I just feel like maybe just one more scene, even maybe not with Peter Quill in it, just a Nikki scene, maybe would have. I don't know. Maybe it's just in my head. It's all
I
in
don't
my head.
think-
But
I think
another
this-
Nikki scene would have just sealed the deal, in terms of.
I think the game is from the perspective of Quill, because you never see anything that Quill doesn't see.
That's true. Maybe that's why I said that it should have been a Nikki scene.
Another scene with
Yeah.
Nikki and Quill.
Yeah.
I think there's a part of me that likes that you feel like Nikki's entire story was interrupted by this entire thing, because you feel like there is so much to her. Like there was so much like story that could have happened, but it didn't, because
true.
she just got kidnapped.
That's
That
true.
she was. It feels like a genuine interruption of her life.
Yeah.
And so I'm sort of on the fence on this. I feel like yes, I think more
Yes, but
scene with her would have
Yes, but
added,
no.
but I also kind of like how it feels like an actual interruption of her life.
I think overall it played out pretty well. I think overall, like again, I think in general her whole story was good. I just keep thinking like maybe just one more would have been. But again, I guess that's
I do,
subjective,
I
right?
do get what you mean. I do get what you
Yeah.
mean.
Yep.
It's really good. I really like the Nikki and Quill element of this game, and the other element I like is Drax's character, but also the arc. There's a whole chapter dedicated to just getting Drax out of his own promised land delusion, and that's one I quite like that one. I don't know.
Thanos' appearance was not expecting that. I'll be honest.
Thanos, not
Yeah.
only one, not just the Thanos appearance, multiple.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I knew, like, as soon as he started multiplying, Adam and Alfred Warbucks started saying, you're not winning this. This is a useless fight. I knew I had to die, but I just wanted to see how many Thanos would like.
You want to break your PC? Having like infinite Thanos is running around. Just keep shooting.
Because you could keep multiplying. I wanted to see how many you could make. Sadly, I died naturally of natural causes.
Oh.
So I couldn't get to see that much, but I did get like 30, I think.
Jeez.
That
Was it like were they going in like 20 frames, just moving around like this?
No, thankfully the scene was in blackness, so it didn't have to render anything but Thanos. So it was fine.
Fair enough.
I didn't have RTX on either, so that probably helped.
You can see them raise.
Right.
I think since it's a talking story, Rocket's scene in the waterfall was also subtle little nice character moment.
Oh yeah.
It was frustrating gameplay wise, though.
Yeah, because that is true. Actually, now that I think about it, yeah, quite. You just keep on killing them suckers until you figure out how to plug it up. Yeah.
You have to keep telling him, "Yo, go into the hole, Rocket."
You're like, no, Quill, I can't. It's too wet.
That's also another moment. It was frustrating, but I also feel like it was intentionally frustrating.
Yeah.
Like they wanted you to feel as frustrated as everyone was with like Rocket's just going,
They
killing these
wanted you to
guys.
shout out, "Go, Rocket, go! Huddle up, guys!"
Oh, how long did it take y'all to realize that you just had to say nothing for enemies to stop spawning and you go through the new tunnel?
Oh, it took me a long time.
What new tunnel?
Say that again?
So
The tunnel thing.
there's a point where there's two tunnels, and every time one of your characters or you mentions the name of like, oh, I think that sounds like Novacore appears.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds like the squid, the jelly guy. The jelly
Oh,
guys
yeah.
appear. Whatever you
Oh.
name appears.
He appears.
How long did it take you to realize? Oh, we have to say nothing and be quiet.
On the
And
last
then
one.
only- yes. What?
I don't remember.
I think about, but it took me about 5, 6 rounds to realize that it was.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. I didn't realize for so long. Is there like a natural end for that?
Meaning?
Is it like
Can you get to the end of that scene without?
there-
I think
I don't think there
goes.
is.
I think it just goes on and
I
on.
think it loops. Yeah, I think it loops until you
Until you figure out that you need to just shut up.
just shut up and tell everyone else to shut up. That was that was cool. The gameplay is mostly hack and slash horde style combat, but I like how there's these unique twists on the gameplay. Sorry, I think we. Yeah. Any other character arcs from the main Guardians that y'all enjoyed? I think the only one left is Gamora. I think we literally talked about the two.
Gamora's one is not as it's there, but it's not as
Yeah, it's not.
it's not as fleshed as the rest. I feel like there is this moment of like, oh, I like the team, and
I will
Yeah.
say this, and I still
Yeah.
have.
She loves us.
I have this feeling from when I initially played the game, and like I feel like it still holds true because that's like the initial reception. I feel like this game relies to some degree on the movies and the MCU because
Yeah.
there is some it feels like there's some context that's missing if you haven't watched the films, or like there's like
that's true. Like there are some references to like events that do happen in the first movie, obviously in the comics and whatnot. But yeah, I get it.
because like she's like, I killed Nebula, and you're like, just like, if you haven't watched the movie,
If you don't know Marvel, you'll be like,
who's Nebula?
Who the fuck is Nebula?
And like, I stole
be
this shit
fair-
from Yondu. Who's Yondu?
Yondu, yeah.
Yondu, I agree. No one would know what Yondu is. The sister thing, I think for the most part they keep calling her sister. Like they do mention Nebula a few times,
But they also say that is
They
her sister.
say-
Yeah.
they mostly say,
I
"Oh,
think-
my sister." You killed your sister?
I do think, Sashank, that's just a symptom that a lot of cross media stuff has. Like,
No, I
I
know.
don't think like obviously no, I agree with you that definitely if you don't know anything, you're going to go, you're going to be like, who is this person? But I also think that's just it's just a cross media thing. They're like, okay, we do have this thing, but we don't really need to get into it in this game because it's not important.
It's the Spider-Man effect. You know?
Yeah.
At some point they stopped telling us about Uncle
Ben, yeah.
Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben.
With
Nearly
power.
nearly said Uncle Jack.
Remember,
But-
Peter? I'm not Uncle Ben, so it's Uncle Jack.
With great power comes a great deal of Jack in the Box.
Yeah, but that said, I do understand what you mean. I just think that's probably the thinking there is just that like, hey,
I think
hey, people probably watch Guardians 1, it's fine.
Yeah.
I think all of us. I think none of us are going to be equipped to answer the question of does this make sense if you never saw the MCU? Because none of us can.
I feel
erase
like
our
it.
memories.
I feel like this game makes that assumption that you've already seen it because
That's what I think as well. But at the same time, there's a chance that maybe someone who's never seen any Guardian stuff still understands what's happening. You know, is not
No, but,
too
like,
confused.
I feel like you. How do you say this? That knowledge of the movies is not an integral part of this game. It's just that you notice
Yeah.
these things because of the
Movies.
because of the movies.
Because
Like
of you.
like your head already fills in the blanks for some of these
Mhm.
parts where like you could be dismissive of it if you didn't know anything.
I think you know what. That's probably I would say that's a positive because it leaves those blanks, but they're not integral to the story, as you said. Meaning that if you've never seen MCU stuff, they just feel like mysteries of the world that you don't know, that you don't get to know.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah.
like in a lot of like the best fantasy and the best sci-fi, they reference things like Star Wars, the Clone Wars. They reference the Clone Wars before the Clone Wars was a show. They reference it, but they don't tell you much about it. They just say it happened. You know,
Mm.
you know, it makes the world feel alive when there's references to things which have nothing to do with the main story in some way. They just feel like fleshed out world events.
Yeah.
I guess, like I said, it's kind of difficult for us to answer because we really.
Yeah.
But if you don't know, then like I'm not sure whether
Well,
this is
so,
true.
for
But
example,
there are some lore in the when you use Visor, right? I didn't
Yeah.
read most of them, so I don't know exactly like what they were, but I'm sure some of them probably are Guardian stuff that I don't know, people who, I mean, if you guys did see some things that you all recognize, that's fine. But like for me, I'm like, there might have been some things there that are from the Guardians comics that I just didn't know,
Yeah,
and I
probably.
wouldn't
Did
mean
y'all-
anything to me.
Did y'all go into the Collector's Emporium
Nope.
in nowhere?
Nope.
Collector's Emporium.
I went in there. So there's a point where you meet a character named Lipless, who was like, "Hey, Quill, remember me?" And you start singing a song with him, and you have to get the lyrics right. Did y'all, when y'all are going to meet Rocket, we're trying to find Rocket on nowhere.
Yeah.
This guy's pointing a gun at you, and he's like singing a song like, "Remember Quill, remember." And
Unless y'all didn't
just
go into the bar and y'all just went straight to Cosmo.
Actually, no.
I just went straight to God. I was like, I don't know.
That's fascinating. So there's a character you meet.
I did get the feeling that there was more to nowhere than
I was-
what. Yeah, there's a lot more because I know there's like a game that you can play and you can earn some I feel like there was there, but I think at the moment, like where I was in my head, because it was a few days before the original recording, I was like, I need to just just need to get through this right now before I think of that. If I replay, I'd probably go back. Will that happen? Never know.
I think I took my time when I was playing
Yeah.
this game, which is why I took 20 hours as opposed to 17.
That's fair.
But yeah, no, I was surprised that Nowhere had no combat. I was like, that was just a story exploration segment, and I was surprised they just had that at all. But there's a point where you can sing to this guy and get the lyrics right, and he gives you a Cosmo like one-day pass to his emporium, and you can go in, and there's like little like references to Marvel comic stuff, which I don't know very much about, but they're really funny. Like one of them is he's got a little frog that's dressed up as Thor, and his name was like Frognir or something.
Yeah.
And he has him just wrapped up in there. And then later on, you find Mjolnir, but it's tiny, and it's the frog Thor Mjolnirs. There was a lot of like funny stuff that you can read about as you're going through. And you can like the Tesseract is in there.
The Tesseract or Frog
The
Tesseract?
Tesseract. The Tesseract.
yeah,
It looked like the MCU one.
Yeah, because I think that the Collector's Emporium's there in the MCU, right? That's where they go to
Yeah.
this thing, the Power Stone and all that stuff.
Yes. And also, when you go through the Emporium, you can buy Gamora a doll, and that gives you a bit more dialogue with her on the ship, which that's something we didn't get into, which is that there's a lot of optional dialogue with characters on the Milano.
Yeah.
And it gives you a lot of backstory about them. If you choose to, you can ignore it, which is nice, because it is just a lot of talking.
Yeah.
But it did flesh out some people. Like, it made Gamora a little bit more interesting to me whenever I ended up talking to her about some extra stuff, like how she likes collecting balls.
I like that there was one where on Nowhere you can go and talk to Drax.
You
You
I don't
didn't.
remember.
Maybe you did.
Where was he?
He was looking at the edge of the observable universe.
Oh, yeah. I did do that. I did talk to him there.
Yeah, and like you all have a conversation about like his dead wife and child, and then Quill was trying to comfort him with.
Yeah. That's that. This game takes a few moments to be like to have a moment.
Yeah.
I did appreciate that. Yeah. I mean that's a lot of stuff. There are three other characters of significance that come into the story besides the main villain. Being Mantis.
Yeah.
Any words about her?
She is a. Yeah, you want to
go ahead. You go ahead, Sashan.
Okay. She is a much better version than the MCU.
Yeah, I was gonna say. She was quite nice, interesting.
Yeah, I like her version.
Very
I like
weird,
this version.
very Mantis. Yeah.
She did sound like very much like Rocket and stuff. She did sound like she was trying to imitate the MCU version in voice, but her character was far more different than the MCU version.
Yeah.
She was a lot more of like a wise but giddy.
I like her nickname. What was it? Something Madonna?
Prima Madonna.
No, they called her something. I can't remember what they called her.
Called her something. Her nicknames for people were very funny, like Alfred Warbucks for Adam Warlock.
Yeah. The Celestial Madonna.
Celestial. Oh, she called Adam Warlock that, didn't she?
No, she's the Celestial Madonna.
That's what the people say called her, right?
Yeah, that's what the people called her.
I don't remember this.
You cannot be out on the streets like this.
All right. Yeah, I like the character. I like the character and her implementation to the story, because she was kind of the vessel through which you could see the promise of Drax and stuff. Adam Warlock, was there.
He existed.
He
Played
existed.
a really
Yeah.
prominent role in the end.
Yes.
I'm sorry, this is a very Sri Lankan joke to make, but I just skipped. I kept on thinking of Sajid.
I'm sorry. People outside Sri Lanka aren't going to get that, but that's incredible.
That's amazing. Google
His
Sajid.
his vocabulary, man. I was just like, can you shut up?
You know what, Sajid?
Both.
Both.
I would say I mean, he was just there for me. Like, obviously, again, he plays
I
his
agree.
impact, but again, he's just there.
He's more of a MacGuffin. He feels like a MacGuffin.
He
to me
is,
as well.
which is really weird considering how strong he is.
Yes.
I mean, his strength is shown. It's just that it doesn't really have anything to. I mean, if you really think about it, he's the one who solves the. He's the one who kind of like captures. What's his name at the end? I've
Reka?
already
Oh,
forgotten.
Magus.
Magnus.
The
Magus.
Magus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's all. That's realistically, that's all him. Yes,
That's
you
all
do
he is.
contribute, but he is the one who actually, does the job. So that is shown, but him in the story as character, he's
Yeah.
just there until the end.
Yeah.
Takes credit and then gets turned to the dark side.
Yeah. He's alright.
Execute
He's
order
alright. He's there.
66.
He's important to the MacGuffin narrative of the story, but he's like on his own. He's alright as a character.
He looked better with the beard.
Oh yeah, he shaved. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I honestly couldn't tell because he was just gold all over, so I couldn't really. I just thought they didn't render his beard that much on the
This is
Clearly, you needed RTX.
also this version of Adam Warlock is significantly better than the MCU version.
Which movie is Adam
Second
Warlock?
one.
Because
Volume.
in the
He came in
second
the
one,
third, right?
No, second.
Third.
Second.
No, second. They don't. They
They mentioned
He says
him.
her name at the end.
Yeah,
No,
but
he's
said
in
his
the
name
second
is
one, isn't he?
No, he's not.
anyway, this is going to delve into a whole other section.
His clan is in the second one. His like group.
But
And-
the point being, I don't really know him in the MCU because again, I don't really do the second, never watch the third. So like, I don't.
He's only in the first.
I assume he's similar, like just there, even in the MCU version.
Not really.
No,
Not
he's,
really?
he's quite
Okay.
important. He's quite important.
Then I
He's a
clearly
little
don't
bit
know him.
more of a. He's a little bit more of a him. He's a little bit more of a himbo in the MCU version.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that to come in this episode. All right. Himbo Alfred Warbucks, very nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, Himbo Sajid Premadas.
Samchit
Oh
Premadas.
no.
No,
Oh,
no one wants that.
Him no.
Him no.
Yeah. I think we talked about most things to do with the story about the Guardians, about Nikki and Quill, the promise being the main element of the story. The villain was a vessel for that theme, for the exploration of the theme.
What about the one thing that I don't think we touched on, which does come up a couple of times, is the flashbacks.
Yeah.
Quill
Yeah,
going
so-
back to his past.
One thing that's very important for the story, for Quill's arc especially, is that they establish what Quill's life was like before he was captured, or at least the day he was captured. Because the game begins with you as young Peter Quill, with a fucking terrible hairdo.
Yeah, the mullet.
I will say though, I do like that. This comes back to the main game itself, but I do like that they made that a costume for Dark Quill.
Yeah.
I thought that was nice.
Yeah.
That was a nice touch.
Yeah, it's funny, but also stupid as I couldn't wear it.
I mean, again, that's a whole other
I agree with
episode
it. I
of the
agree
game
with it.
playlist. But the fact that they came up with it, very nice. Anyway,
Hilarious.
yes, hilarious.
Yes, I really like those scenes. They made Quill's mom really endearing and made it like it really makes sense why Quill would like be succumb to the promise because his mom's alive. She's just very lovely lady. There's literally not a bad thing about her that's presented in the flashbacks, from his memories at least, from his memories of her.
Mhm.
And so it's good, well implemented, and they don't get overbearing. I don't think, because after Quill's arc, you don't really get any more flashbacks. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, true. You don't.
Yeah.
But it was nice, to get that. Again, it's good little context. What do you call low context going in?
Yarr.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we've gone through everything to do with the story.
Squeezed all the faith energy out of the
Yeah,
conversation.
squeeze all the faith out of it. Yeah, I mean, it's a MacGuffin, but I guess the energy, they call it faith energy, and it's yellow. It's lemon juice.
Yeah.
That's what they were using to power the enemy stuff.
Basically, it's about people believing in the promise and whatnot. It's again, no need to drag on too much about it, but like it's a good message. It's a good story. It's a good message in terms of like what it's trying to say.
Yeah. I think personally, I think because of the way they explored the theme, the message, the point, I did really like the story by the end. However, I did not like the Mages fight, which we already discussed, kind of.
Yeah.
But I did not like that fight. It was cool that there was a surprise final boss while the credits are loading.
Yeah.
But
and then you got to deal with that nonsense. Plus,
that fight was a bit boring.
really bad quick time event, and yeah.
Yeah, I think I might have preferred if they just ended with the
with the Reka fight.
Guy. Yes.
Quick question before we finish this part. Did you all pay the fine? Did everyone pay the fine?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
All right. So you got.
I spent money buying a doll for Gamora, and then I lost money gambling at a vending machine.
Okay, so
and
you
then
got
some kids, darn tootin' kids, they stole 950 money off of me.
So you got the alternate ending to what we got.
Yes. What happens? Because for me,
to be honest, I feel like I read the ending we got. I feel like your one kind of has it's more story compared to our one's just like we just drive off into the sunset.
Yeah, you drove into the sunset. Mine, the ship stalls and the ship's just floating in the sky. And I'm like, why did the ship turn off? And then Nikki's like, you guys paid your fine, right? There's a pause. Oh, fly! And then it.
Oh, sorry. I know. Wait a very long episode. Yeah. I obviously they couldn't do it for the rating or what, but I really wish there was a profanity.
Yeah.
That would have just like popped it to another level.
Yeah, that was in the first chapter. The thing that I didn't like was the way the story was going, and then as soon as they started saying flark instead of the F word, I was like, oh my god, just swear. Or make up a new word, not flark. There's like the Angry Birds movie when there's like.
Do they do that in the Guardians movie as well?
No, they just don't swear.
They don't even do like a fake swear.
They do one.
In the third
No,
movie.
Flark and Scott, whatever is there in original Guardians.
That's the I feel
But
like
not as much.
Yeah, but not
obviously not as much as here. They say five sentences. But I feel like I heard the flark term before, and I'm pretty sure they used it anyway.
Flark.
Yeah, they should have had a profanity. Should have had a profanity slider.
Yes. Every time he said flark, I was like, just swear, please. I hate this. But otherwise, yeah. All right. So I think we went through everything with the story, everything with the game. I think we got through everything. I think we talked about this game. Big shot. Let's go into we're going to go into our rating section. We're coming to the end. However, before that, we have a thing. We have a thing coming from our resident achievement hunter, Seshan, please tell us how many achievements did you not get?
This game has achievements. Thank you.
It does.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
I will preface this. I got this game for free on Epic Games, and I do.
That's why you didn't complete it. Okay.
I do not
yeah.
care about my achievements on Epic. Therefore, I did not go ahead with completing the achievements for this game. But
You clearly do not care about the gameplay of this audience, then, if you're not going to do the one thing that you're supposed to do, Session. Just saying. Just saying.
shut up! I did my due diligence. I did my due diligence though. I looked at the achievements and like basically
I looked at the achievements and I'm giving my.
yeah.
They're hard.
Uh-huh. I think I finished about 80% of them.
Oh, it's like, you know what? I gave you shit, but yeah, that's decent. Well done.
I will admit it's a little difficult to check which ones I didn't get because you can only check them in game for some reason.
Oh, for context, I got 83 of the achievements without, 83% of the achievements without.
Okay, I was like, there's only 58.
There's only
Yeah.
59, yeah.
There's
59, okay.
there's a couple of them which I would say require like a backtrack of the game, which
You have to back-
all in all, it's not terrible. Like there are
Yeah.
This is required in other games. Like you can backtrack and get a couple of things done.
Yeah.
They're mostly collectible stuff, mostly the cosmetic items, which, as Akshan mentioned, don't know why that's in a single player game in the first place. But sure, you get all of them and wear all of them. I feel like the most difficult one is the law one, where like you have to
Oh, yeah.
where to kind of like scan like law items, but apparently if you go to the collector's emporium, a good majority of it will be filled up. Thankfully, you don't need 100% it. You need 65%.
65, yeah.
You need
Yeah, you need
65% of it.
65%. That's all you need. pretty
So with the 17 hours for the base game, I went through it semi-casually, so like I took about 17 and a half hours. If you're a bit more relaxed, you'll take 20 hours, like Akshan, 17 to finish the game, 2 hours to stare at Drax's nipples. But like I feel like maybe another 3 hours to round off some of the achievements, because if you're playing it like like it's intended, like you're not rushing it, I feel like you'll get most of it. There are a few you might miss. There are some combat ones that again you might miss, but if you're replaying it, thankfully there's chapter select and all that good stuff. So it's not a headache to go through the entire game again.
I was also surprised there's a new game plus mode.
Yeah, which I mean, like it's common, right? You get to keep all the things from your previous save. Like basically, you get to play the full game from the beginning, but fully upgraded. That's fine.
But fully upgraded.
Yeah, I am thankful that the usual culprits when it comes to achievements, like finish it on the hardest difficulty, aren't there. So it really bumps the achievement difficulty down. Like if what was the scale? 10 being the easiest, 1 being difficult.
No.
Other way around?
The other way around. Yeah.
Other way around? Oh, 10 is the most difficult.
10 is the hardest.
This is probably a 4.
4?
Not so bad.
It's not bad.
Oh,
Not
I
bad.
think it's
not
a
bad.
4.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the achievements. I feel like I could get, if I can, I could get
Yeah,
them.
it's like like I said, 70 to 80% you'll get it because majority are story related. The others you'll have to put in a few more hours. You don't really need to play the entire game again. Looking at you, Yakuza, bloody.
Oi.
But yeah,
Uh,
not bad. Worth getting a perfect thing. Worth getting perfect achievement if you care for that thing. I don't, because it's on Epic.
Lovely. All right. Yeah. I think that comes to a wrap with our thoughts. Let's go into the final segment, our ratings, which we have 2 ratings to give, a try it or a skip it. Dilanta, you picked this game. Tell us, what is your rating?
Skip the damn thing.
Thank you. Now it's
Always a
me.
hater.
No. Yeah. So, whew. I think overall, I think feelings are pretty clear here. I did like it. I did enjoy it for the most part. It's not perfect. Nothing ever is. If you really get down to the brass
No,
tacks. So
you are perfect. Oh, sorry.
thank you, Anuk. That's now in a video, by the way, Anuk. So thank you for that.
You are
But
perfect. Oh, I'm sorry.
my by one point I would say is like I think this game goes on sale quite a bit. So I think it's not a very expensive pickup if you're ever like keen to try an action adventure game. If you especially like Marvel stuff, this is the one for you. I also do think that like it's a shame that we're probably not gonna get another game like this anytime soon. The way things are going, like especially I would say I don't know, maybe it's reading too much into this obviously, but like I think especially when it comes to like these like the Guardians of the Galaxy characters, right? I feel like we're definitely not going to get a game like this anymore. Very unlikely. If anything, like the next upcoming Marvel stuff are like focused on Spider-Mans, Wolverines,
Marvel
stuff like
Rivals.
that. Marvel Rivals, yeah, with the single player stuff anyway, right?
Mhm.
So I would say in that way, like it's still worth trying. I think Eidos Montreal, like they gave it their damnedest even when everything was against them,
Mhm.
and they were rewarded by being sold to Embracer. So I would say give it a try. It's definitely, I feel like it is worth it, especially at the price it's at right now. So yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Oh, they made. No, this is freaking. I know this Eidos Montreal. I was gonna
Yeah,
say
they
they made
made
the Tomb Raider games.
they made the Tomb Raider games, Deus Ex. Yeah,
Deus Ex. Hey.
made Deus
All
Ex.
right. So your rating is
Try it.
nice. Try it. All right. So it's my go. I was ready to not like this game because I remember when we saw footage of it when it was first being marketed. I did not. I was like, I don't like this. I don't want to play this. This is. I'm tired of Marvel. I'm tired of this. I don't want to play this game. So when
I
I
think you
played
said
it,
that same. Sorry to interrupt. I think you said the same thing when I said I'm picking it.
yeah. I
Yeah.
know. I didn't want to play this. First chapter, I felt like my presumptions were rewarded because I was like, I don't like this. Uh, but as it went on, story got me. The gameplay was working for me, which I didn't honestly. I didn't dislike the gameplay in the first chapter. I just didn't like the story and the writing and the narrative at first. But the gameplay was new for me because I didn't really. I'm not the biggest fan of horde style games just because I'm bad at keeping attention to multiple targets. I prefer having one big target. But it was very enjoyable just because there were so many people that you could control and work together to make things happen. And so the gameplay was fun. The story was very engaging for me. I liked the characters quite a bit. I ended up having a very good time with this, and it reminded me that I like playing a good linear campaign sometimes. I do like my open worlds, but a good linear campaign, you know, I'm happy to play. And even with its imperfections, will still say that this game is a try it for me. Yeah, Seshan next up.
Hmm. I feel like mixed sentiments with me. Like I stated in the beginning. How do I put this? The characters are the real selling point for me in this game. They they bring to life what I assume the comic books have, like the content that the comic books have and that the MCU couldn't do, which I guess I really appreciate. Although I'm not 100% certain if that's the right thing, but I like these versions of the characters more, and I feel like they are better in that regard. All of them that are there. The story for me, I don't know. It didn't really get to me. It was all right. it wasn't bad, but it wasn't mind blowing for me. Gameplay was also like it was interesting at some point, but like again, for some reason, not the biggest fan of it. Like it just felt very lukewarm with with the majority of things. The only thing I really liked was the characters and the development and the writing of the characters. That being said, very similar things to what I think mostly Dilanta said. The team that made this game a great effort by them, and like the price that this game goes at is decent enough that it doesn't feel like that big of like a pinch in your wallet to buy the game. But personally, I'm gonna say skip it because I don't know, it's missing something for me. Um Maybe it was just this time playing it, I don't know. But I'm giving it it's a skip it with a disclaimer because like if this is if like Marvel games or like this the entire like Marvel universe is something you're interested in, maybe it's something you like, but like I don't know. For me, there's something missing.
I think that's a fair suggestion. I mean that's how you feel about it, so
Yeah.
I don't even think you need to caveat it, to be honest.
No,
Like-
I'm caveating it because like if you're really interested in this thing, if you're interested in this one specific thing, then it's probably worth it. I'm saying that if you're a general person that you don't really care, maybe you might not like it.
Yeah. Although I understand that. I can understand. If the story doesn't grab you, it's like it doesn't matter if the gameplay is fine. It's not gonna excite you. Yeah. All right. So then finally we have Anuk.
So can I just give one word answer? I mean,
you have to give it minimum 2.
I mean,
and one of them and one of it ends with an 8.
I just played.
It's not even one of the options.
Rating.
But I understand.
You know what? The Anuk's answer is the best. I'm not going to give a rating,
Play it.
and you give the rating.
Play it. Okay. It's like try it. We'll
try,
copy.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, technically, you all have spoken everything about the game. Right? There's nothing much to add on. Like the character itself was defined. The characters were different to the MCU universe. They had their own unique roles in the team, their own unique stories. Sorry. And then, I mean, as Ashan said, yes, the story was not as well done, but I think it was sufficient enough to be alongside their individual characters to give a supporting role, I guess you could say. But in the end, I think you should just try it and see. I mean, it depends on you, right? If you like the story, you might like it. If you don't like the story, you don't like it. Like it's a thing.
Can I add one more thing? Just the reason of my thing. I have a slight feeling that the reason I gave the skip it that I did is because I might be having Marvel fatigue.
Which
I
is
can
justifiable. Yeah.
I can understand that.
So
It's the main reason I'm not playing Spider-Man games.
which factors into my rating. So yeah.
I can understand that. I feel like I was thinking I would have that. For some reason I didn't. I guess I've avoided Marvel well enough so far.
They've been marveling too much.
I've been
That's
up
the
to date
problem.
with everything, so
Okay, you've been up to date, so you are really in the fatigue.
yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully we didn't fatigue you with today's episode. Thank you very much for watching, for listening. We have, and that's our rating. This is the second AAA game of the year that we've picked. I don't think we'll have any more based on what I know.
And what do you know? I guess you.
Yeah, we have 2 more games to go. How would you know what we're gonna play?
Yeah. How would you know what we're picking after this, Saksh?
So our previous videos, our last video was on Squirrel with a Gun, which was picked by me. That was a very different game to this. Story doesn't exist in that one. It's just a squirrel with a gun. What do you want? If you want to see the previous time that we talked about AAA game, you can check out our video on Titanfall 2. That was another fun AAA linear story campaign game. And then finally, of course, Bear and Breakfast. That I don't know how that's related to this. I just put that. Let's check out the episode on Bear and Breakfast. It's if you want to see a story that's gone insane, watch that episode or play that game. Yeah. So we have 2 more videos for this Quadmester before we have to pick the games for the next one. What will be? We have Before You Eyes and Ultra Kill.
Before your eyes.
Before you eyes.
I want you to see what you typed, Sachan.
Me?
Podcast chat. Yes, when you corrected me, you said Before You Eyes. And I just went with it.
Nelly.
So Before You Eyes and Ultra Kill are 2 games for the next
Can't wait for Before You Eyes.
Before You Eyes. Before You Eyes, you surprise.
Mhm.
All right. So thank you for listening.
Right.
Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, follow. Yeah.
Listen to
that's it.
episodes on podcast channels. Thank you so much for watching, listening.
Thanks a bunch.
Have a good
Cheerio.
time. Play some
Good.
video games.
Yeah, play some video games.
Be a gamer.
Goodbye, you scut
Bye
buckets.
bye. Bye bye. Scott buckets. Flock all of you.
Bye.